Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you are watching this. I hope you can hear me okay. I've got a new camera, you see, look. Phone in pocket still. Not using my phone anymore to do any vlogs or anything like that. So, yeah, so we're on a tripod, quick release, camera that I can turn the screen on. We're on a winner. So, what I did is I took the subframe off the other day and I have had it sandblasted because I've tried to clean it, I tried oven cleaner, I tried degreaser, everything. It just wasn't touching it at all. So what I've decided to do is I took it to fucking chavs. I took it to local powder coaters that did my wheels for me and stuff like that, and for 20 quid they sandblasted it, and they put, I thought it was rust at first, but I actually rang them. And it's got like a protective coating on it to stop it from rusting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray it with Hammerite. Now, a couple of people will just say, well, why didn't you get it powder coated while you was there? And the reason I didn't get it powder coated while I was there is because there's so many holes in the subframes, as in mounting brackets and things like that, and I really didn't want to have to start filing them out or drilling them out or anything like that. So I thought, I've used Hammerite quite a few times, I really like the stuff, so, and it'll give it a good protection. So that's why I didn't go for the actual powder coated finish. It would only cost me an extra tenner. So for 20 quid they sandblasted it and put that protection on it, and then for an extra tenner they would have powder coated it, and they were more than happy to do that, but I said no, purely on the factors that I didn't want to have to mess about later. So I'm hoping that we'll put a nice coverage on with this, and away we go. I've decided this is literally going to be like paint drying for you guys, so I'll stop the camera there and I'll bring it back when it's got some paint on it. Right, so I've given that a light coating, so we'll let that dry now, let that go off, and then we'll blast it again. One thing with paint spraying, listen, I ain't no expert, but one thing with spraying is I always try and get the really awkward bits first, try and hammer them, because your nice flat even surfaces, you'll get them every time you go to spray, so you might as well get in between and get all the little nooks and crannies and stuff like that, because that's where your rust is going to start, and that's where your issues might start as well. So if you can, try and get in and around everywhere first, and then obviously make it look pretty afterwards. So like I say, that needs another coat on it now, and then once that's done, it can be put back in the car and hopefully never come out again. Right then, so while the subframe's drying outside, I am going to cut this returned edge off of here, because as I said before, I've got the two, and so what I need to do is I need to cut one completely off, and then I need to actually just slice sections in one so I can actually hammer it down or use the vise to flatten it. So I'll cut that off and I'll bring you back once I've done that. Right then, so as with everything, as with everything on cars, that took a lot longer than it should have done. But that is now the returned edge completely taken off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a bit of well through primer on both sides of that, and then I'm going to actually pin it to the original, well, break my garage. I'm going to pin it to that for tonight, just so it can get some shape back again. Because it just shows that when all I've done is grinded that there, and it's distorted quite a bit. But I'm pretty sure once I pin that to this, it's still got all its strength and rigidity. I think that should be okay. So yeah, there's not much more I can do now. I could put the slits in that, but it's getting quite late. And as on Kev Gentleman's motor racing team, we already had a discussion about grinding, and currently it is, I don't know, because my phone's inside, but I think it's coming up to about 9 o'clock now. It is a Saturday night, so that's why I've still been grinding. So yeah, I'll stick some well-through primer on this one, and I'll pin it to this one, and then I'll bring you back tomorrow. Right then, so that's the front subframe completely Hammerite. I've done the steering rack while I'm there, and then this is what I have done to the front / rear lip. So like I say, I've cut it like little fingers sort of thing, then I've folded them back, and hopefully that should, like I say, that should then slide into the boot, and then I should be able to weld that. But first of all, I'm going to spot weld these two pieces together to give it some sort of strength back, because once I cut that lip off, the return edge off this one, it went really floppy, and then once I'd knocked these back again, it went really floppy, so really flimsy. So hopefully that should now be okay. So then, that's more or less it for this episode. Today I went down and picked up steering rack U-bolts, so I've picked them up now. So I can mount that once that's dry and everything. Then it'll be front subframing, and then it'll be obviously just building everything up onto that. I have got a bag of bits here, which are 2 top arms and 2 repair can't talk today, repair bearings. So hopefully that should, Mr. Murphy is going to be doing them for me, so yeah, they'll be great once they come back and I can clean them all up and paint them. Then I need to get on with cleaning up the hubs and the drive shafts and everything like that, getting them mounted. In the meantime, I need to be welding that lip on. So by the time I get this episode up, this has been over a few days, by the time I get this episode up, it'll be very, very close to the end of the competition that all the YouTubers are running, which obviously you must have heard of by now if you're watching any of us. The massive $600 giveaway for P&L Minis, so have a look at that. The link will be in the description below. But thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope the camera's been much better than, again, look, not on the phone today, not on the phone, actually on the camera, so hopefully that'll be good enough.